I mean, they can block with a lot of stuff. Mauler go nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Mauler eats a bunch of stuff. Dies itself, sadly. But we just killed 3 creatures. Hey guys, there's 2 great ways to support the channel. All links are in the description below. Welcome back, everyone. Got one that I'm excited about today. This is Aurelia, Exemplar of Justice, +1/+1 counters. Let's take a look at this opener. Oh my. This is probably about as good as an opener can get for us, so we're going to go ahead and keep this. So this deck has kind of an interesting story about it, which I'll tell you about in a minute here. We are first in the turn order, so we'll go ahead and do that. Let us land tax on the play, huh? Yeah, we can just go for a tap land then. What comes in tapped? This is an elemental, meaning we can get that one untapped. Let's get the Misspell Plains in. That one always comes in tapped, so that seems like a reasonable first play here. So, the story of this deck. I had the idea for this, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. It wasn't all that long ago. And I sat down and I'm like, I want to make a boros +1/+1 counter deck. I saw someone playing something. I'm like, it might be possible to do that. Because I don't think I've ever really seen one before. I know that I haven't built one before. So, based on something I saw, I'm like, maybe there's some interesting things to do here. And basically, I went through and found every Boros card that has a +1/+1 counter ability, and then I put them into a deck list, which ended up being like 210 cards or something like that. Here's what that looks like, by the way. If any of you are wanting to build this type of deck, this is the card pool that you'll be working with. A lot of interesting things in here, and a lot of cards that I don't normally run. So I'm excited about this deck because there are a lot of things in it that are atypical to decks that I play. I still got a few of my normal tricks in here, but for the most part, the creature choices in this deck are going to be pretty interesting, pretty unique relative to something that I typically play. For example, we see this Mikaeus the Lunarch. Fun little card. And in fact, this might be the turn to go for Mikaeus. Yeah, it's probably still not a reason to go for land tax yet, so, well, we need a second land here. Let's get the Clifftop Retreat. It comes in untapped. We'll get the Soul Ring, and then we'll play the Mikaeus for X2. Love it. Just how you draw it up. Get this thing in early off of a Soul Ring. That's it's about as good as things can go for you. X is 2. And so what's cool about this thing, later on in the game, once we get like an Ajani or something like that in play that'll put more +1/+1 counters on this, we won't have to spend the time to charge it up. Like, basically, it's not exactly a loop, but like turn after turn, you can keep doing it, and that's pretty cool. Actually, that may be a reason to put Patriarch Seal in this deck too, just on the off chance that, you know, every once in a while when that comes up, you might be able to untap this thing and get a second activation with it, and that would be pretty cool. Probably more of a late game thing, but, you know, I think it might be worth taking that chance. Also, there are some weird times where, like, you hit another creature with Aurelia's ability, and it doesn't have Vigilance, so, and it is a really good blocker as a 2/5, so, and in this deck, it should be getting larger than that. There's a Nature's Lore, so at some point, we will be able to get some value off the land tax. And I did think about that. I'm like, someone plays like a Nature's Lore type card. There might be a reason to have land tax, but we have enough lands right now that I feel okay about it. Fertile Ground. There's one you don't see as much of. Anyway, so this is the card pool of cards. And so what happened was, this is 211 cards. I started trying to cut this thing down, and I've spent, I don't know, probably at least 2 hours trying to make cuts. And this is as far as I got. I got to 145 cards, which obviously is still not Commander legal. And the problem is, it's just like, I want to play all of these cards. All of these look very interesting to me. So what ended up happening is, I posted the list in chat, and I basically just told everyone in Discord, hey, I've been working on this deck, and like, I don't have the time to cut this thing down, but it looks really cool, so I just kind of let whoever had the time sit there and work on it, and Mango ended up doing some work on it, and we'll pause there for 1 second. Gonna play the Flamekin Village, revealing the Taurine Mauler. I feel awesome when I get to do that. Flamekin Village untapped. Love it. What are we doing with the mana, though? That's 5 mana, so that's exactly enough to go Aurelia and land tax. And I feel pretty good about that. And, oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Go to combat. Hit Mikaeus with the trigger. Give Vigilance to Mikaeus. Which of these decks do I like least? D-Manny's deck can be scary. D-Manny, also playing +1/+1 counters, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we poke D-Manny for 4, And at some point, we can tap this thing to pump up the Aurelia, which seems pretty cool. So we'll pass like that. Maybe we wait. There's only 2 counters on it. Yeah, maybe we just pump itself up, get the 3. I think that's probably a good idea. Actually, we could have did that on the attack, but I don't think that 1 point of damage going to be super relevant. Anyway, back to the story. So, yeah, 200 cards. It was taking me forever to cut this thing down. So, Mango said they spent like a few hours trying to cut this thing down. Like, it's not easy to cut this thing down from the 210 of available cards for the deck. So it is actually kind of a big undertaking because like there's several different themes that are happening. Like first I thought about trying to do like a Champion of the Parish type deck where you have all these like really cheap things that, you know, if you get them with some of the Ajani's and you pump them up, and that could be kind of cool. And then later on I'm like, that's maybe not the best. I think there's other things to be doing. So there's an Overgrowth. Opponent's got oh right, they're playing a Tuvasa deck. That makes sense. Side note, I wish they would print a white shifted version of this card. I think that would be a very solid piece of ramp in white that is good but not broken. So anyway, sent this thing over to Mango, and Mango got it cut down, and so Mango sent me back the deck list that they came up with. I made a bunch more changes to it after that, but at least Mango's cuts, getting it down to 100, gave me the focus that I needed to actually be able to like make this deck happen. I would say that I changed, I don't know, probably between like 8 and 10 creatures in the deck, just because there were some very specific creatures that I wanted to run, stuff that I've never played before, and we'll put a counter on McKay's right here. Just some interesting card choices, cards I've never gotten to play and I think could be cool in the deck. So I was really trying to get as many things as possible into the deck. So I actually cut a lot of staple type stuff, like cards that are objectively best in slot. And let's look at the actual deck. So this is the card pool. Here's the actual deck list that we're playing, obviously cut down to 100 cards. I cut Aurelia right before filming. Aurelia is objectively going to make this deck better, but there's just so many things I wanted to try out that I'm like, I gotta cut something. And there was, over 30 creatures, so I wanted to get it down to at least 30. So Hangerback Walker, Walking Ballista also got cut, but objectively, those cards will just be better than probably almost everything else in the deck because they're all insanely powerful cards, but again, just to make room to like test some of this stuff out. Anyway, it brings back to our turn. There's a land tax trigger. And we'll go all 3 right here. Oh, then we drew the land off the top. That is the worst. At least it's the Hainware Battlements, though. It's a reasonably interesting land. Play the Hainware Battlements. Our next problem now is card draw. All right, let's see. So we can get the Cornucopia X1. We have 6 total mana. We could go X2 on this thing, which would be cool, and this would be the time to do it. But then we lose a turn on Taurine Mauler. And I kind of want to get the Taurine Mauler in. Yeah, we can make up the time on Taurine Mauler. Yeah, we'll just go Astro Cornucopia X2, because it's not a card we really get to play all that much. I didn't see why, but somehow we got a Goblin. Astro Cornucopia X2. Played a land already. We're good there. Dude, now there's a bunch of blockers in play. This is a 4-1? Yeah. We can get a little damage, and maybe we could just go in the air. Yeah, we can just put the counter on Aurelia, or put the target. Oh, no, we should have did. I know what we can do. Ha ha ha! We're going to get to use this mentor ability, are we? Yeah, we're going to get to use the mentor ability. That is something that you rarely get to do. Go to combat. We'll send... Make sure this thing doesn't have flying. We'll send this one at Flintlock and this one into Asgard. And look at this mentor trigger. So actually that accomplishes the same job as like leaving it untapped and tapping it at some point. That's very exciting to me. You do not get to do this often. Although, I will say in this one game a long time ago when this first came out, I mentored a Knight of the White Orchid twice, and a 4/4 Knight of the White Orchid is just like really good value. Because you got the land already, and now you've got a 4/4 First Striker, which, 4/4 First Striker kills everything on this board right now, and will probably do so for at least a few more turns. It was an exciting moment. Anyway, so looking back at this deck, so I wanted to focus on some of these creatures I don't normally run. Kami of Celebration, very interesting. Goblin Raise Runners looks interesting. Thundering Raiju. Years ago, Kristen told me that, where is it? Bastry's Lieutenant is also a very good card. Anna Fenza looks cool in this deck. Agitator Ant, the Orzhov Advocist stuff all looks really cool. There's just a lot of cool cards that... And you gem them all in this deck. This deck actually, I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully this game doesn't go terribly. We are going to need to draw some cards at some point because this is a lot of lands. A lot of lands. There's about 8 or so sources of card draw in the deck. So we'll see how that goes. But I think did I cut Sunbird's Invocation right before we went to the game, or did that stay in? Yeah, there was a Sunbirds in here, and I cut it just to get down to 100. Again, Sunbirds is another one of those cards. If it stays in play, it'll probably win you the game. It's that good. D-Manny putting some counters on Halana and Alena. But then the other thing in this deck, too, is that we have a bunch of Ajanis, and there are a number of Ajanis that put counters on things. I have both of the ones that put mass +1/+1 counters. I've also got Citadel Siege to do kind of the same thing. I've got Felidar Retreat, which is very good in that space also. There's a lot of cool little synergies that I just had, like, I wasn't aware of, right? This isn't a deck that I set out to try and build. And, I think part of the reason is that there isn't really, like, a great boros +1/+1 counters deck. Or commander, rather. I looked through the list of commanders, and there were a couple choices that were coming to mind. This one seemed interesting because, one, the trample. If you're pumping up your red creatures, giving them trample is very exciting. And occasionally, we'll get to use that mentor ability, and even though I've had various Aurelia Exemplar decks over the years, you just don't get to mentor all that often. So I figured, like, maybe this is the deck to do it. That could be kind of cool, right? So this is what I settled on, but there are some other options that if you wanted to go in a different direction. Who's the other one with mentor there? Small Tajik is one that I saw. I did see a partner combination. It's the white enchantment that puts counters on things, and I think it's the red creature with background that goads. I did see someone playing that, and I'm like, that could be an interesting possibility for this deck. I decided to go with Aurelia Exemplar just because I'm a little more comfortable with it, and I'm already playing a lot of things that I'm uncomfortable with, so wanted some sense of familiarity, and I have a very good idea of what Aurelia will do from the command zone and all that type of stuff. So I'm telling opponents I've already GG'd this game. Flamekin Village untapped and got a mentor trigger. I don't know why, those are the things that make me happy in a game of Commander. It's not usually the big stuff that wins the game, it's those like small little things that I get excited about now. One time in a feather deck, I think I've told this story, but I hit Walking Atlas with one of the haste spells in feather to give it haste and then drop a second land into play. It's just exciting. It's just an exciting play. Oh, that's what I forgot. Angel Fire Ignition is in that list of 200 cards. Mango cut that one. I understand why, because you have to cut a lot of cards. Oh, that's the thing I was going to say. So there are 30 creatures in this deck. That list of 145 that I showed you means that there's about 75 creatures still in that list, which means there's 45 creatures that did not make this deck that, like, I very much wanted to play. And yeah, there's just a lot of competition, and, like, obviously some cards are going to be better than others, but when you're looking at, like, I want to do, like, cool, fun stuff, then, that's why I got rid of the Hangerback Walkers and so on. But, like, inevitably, some of you in the chat are going to be like, hey, what about this creature? And my answer is, that was one of the 45 that didn't make it, because there are a lot of good creatures that I really wanted in this deck. You could basically make 2 or 3 versions of this deck if you wanted. So one of the versions of the deck, I cut back noticeably on Proliferate, which makes stuff like this a little less good. But I figure even if you proliferate it once, that's more than enough to kind of do its job. And, like, it comes in for 3 and taps immediately for 1. It's not, like, amazing, but it's not terrible either. You can work with that. So, with, having that off chance that, like, you might proliferate a time or two throughout the game. If you hit Norn's Choirmaster, you can proliferate a lot. That card's crazy. Truth and Justice will probably get you a few pretty easily. But anyway, I cut a lot of the proliferate stuff just because a lot of those cards, especially the colorless ones, well, they're all colorless really, because there's very few cards in white and red that proliferate. There is a Volt Charge in here, though, and I really hope that I get to surprise someone with a Volt Charge and pump up the entire team, because that will be really exciting to me. Anyway, most of the proliferate stuff, because it's colorless, is very expensive to activate, and it's just cheaper to play another Ajani and put more +1/+1 counters on your stuff. So I kind of shifted away from the proliferate mechanic, but it is a direction that you could take this deck if you really wanted to focus in that way. Again, just a lot of cards, a lot of cards to choose from, and a lot of interesting things, and trying to figure out, like, okay, what is the theme here? Like, because you have the main theme, which is +1/+1 counters, and then you start having to delve into, like, all right, what's my sub theme? Because that puts me at 200 cards, and I still just don't have a legal deck yet. So yeah, it was an interesting experience trying to get this thing down. I appreciate Mango's help. Like I said, I was stuck at 145, and it probably would have taken me another 2 hours to cut those 45 cards, and it would have been just the most painful thing ever. So definitely appreciate Mango for this one. But yeah, as I've been chatting here, we got a little game developing. People got some creatures, got some things going. We'll check out opponents' board states here in a minute. Brings it back to our turn. There's another land tax. I'm going to leave the lands in the deck just in case of like Sword of the Animist and stuff like that. We have 4 lands in hand. At this point, like, we're really just kind of looking at like, they'll probably just get discarded to a wheel, which is like not the most ideal. There's exactly 7 basic planes, so you don't want to be discarding all your planes in case of Ameria. So we're going to go no in this land tax trigger. Pray we draw something other than a land. Great Sword of Tyr. Love it. Oh, I so wanted to get a look at this card. I've played this card a little bit, and it's really fun. Like, okay, looks like we're going to play the last couple things we have here. Play the Flooded Strand, crack a Flooded Strand. We'll get the Plateau. Probably get the Sacred Foundry, honestly, and go tapped, but I didn't really counter mana here. Get the Taurine Mauler. I was thinking about hasting it, but it's still small, so it's like not a great reason to do that. Wait a turn for it to get pumped up. Yeah, definitely could have tapped the mana differently, that's for sure. We'll use the Soul Ring anyway. Oh, we need to use all of our white. Great Sword of Tyr. So I love this card. It is better than you think it is, especially for a 2-mana common. Is it Feast and Famine? No, it's not a Feast and Famine. Like, it's not that strong. But for like, you know, kind of these early to mid-game type situations, if you're in the combat space and just trying to like get little pokes in here or there, it does a really good job of just clearing through blockers. Like, for example, D-Mani has 2 blockers over here, and what is this? Oh, God, that thing's a 5/5? Jesus. Did we get to this Planeswalker? Yeah, we should probably hit that Planeswalker. Okay, yeah, we'll put the thing on Aurelia. But yeah, you know, there are decks that don't have like tons and tons of creatures in play, and, you know, a lot of times they have one good blocker, and Great Sword of Tyr removes that blocker and just makes it really easy to keep getting your attacks in. And the fact that, like, as long as the creature stays in play, you're going to get those counters, and just that little bit of scaling does a lot, because your creature is gaining value, getting bigger throughout the game. Is there any way to mentor this goblin without it dying? I don't think so. We're going to swing into the Planeswalker. We tap a creature defending player controls. We'll go for the one with reach. Like I said, it's got reach, right? At some point, we're not going to be able to attack even in the air because of the reach, and this thing will be huge. And Great Sword of Tyr removes the blocker. Love it. As long as D-Mani doesn't have anything, we're going to get to kill this Planeswalker, and I feel pretty good about that, where we wouldn't really have been able to otherwise. I was worried about the card draw. Kind of, at least we can keep making our land drops, so like if a wheel happens eventually or something, we find the card we need, then we'll still be in the game. But yeah, you know, things could be better right now. We've ramped like crazy. Now we're kind of running low on cards because we have only lands. Worldly Tutor for D-Mani. It's going to trigger the Taurine Mauler. Get that one going. God, I love Taurine Mauler. I almost cut it because I've played a lot of Taurine Mauler over the years. More so like 4 or 5 years back, less so of late. But there was a joke on the EDH lounge for a little while, because I was running this thing all the time way back when, that like this was the EDH lounge MVP, because it would just be like a 12/12 very early into the game, and like you have to spend removal on it, otherwise it kills you, especially with Aurelia, because Aurelia can give it trample. So, you know, the one thing it's missing is evasion. This gives it evasion. See what D-Mani's going for. A Bane of Progress would be terrible. We did drop that Planeswalker, though. Vivian Arcbow Ranger going down. And with that, let's actually take a look at what our opponents are playing. Had a long-winded story trying to get through my Aurelia Exemplar story here. But we got D-Mani piloting Halana and Alena Partners, one we've seen a bunch of times. First strike reach at the beginning of combat on your turn. Put X +1/+1 counters on another target creature, where X is Halana and Alena's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. So also a +1/+1 counters deck. So that should make for a fun battle, actually. And it should make things interesting, because like a lot of times, if this deck has creatures in play, those creatures are bigger than what you're doing. That doesn't necessarily have to be the case here because of what we're playing. So we can actually go toe-to-toe with their creatures later on in the game, which, I don't know, that sounds kind of fun. See who can mash through who the most. Moving on, in the middle, we've got Asgard Iron playing Tuvasa the Sunlit. 3 mana for a 1/1. Gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. So it's going to be Bant Enchantress. They told me what the theme was before the game, but I kind of forgot now. I think they said this is... They called it the Game Warping deck, but I'm like, it's not a Chaos deck, is it, right? Because I'm just like, I'm not in for a Chaos deck right now. You know, I'm excited about this deck, and I want to actually see what it does, not get locked under like a Possibility Storm or some nonsense like that. And they're like, no, it doesn't do that. So they're basically saying that there's a lot of like Monarch and Initiative and other reasons to want to attack other players. So that actually sounds like a cool theme, but I was very relieved when it's not going to be like Chaos deck. So I like the Monarch mechanic. I think initiative is cool too. I like those sort of things that kind of keep the game moving, and those sort of things tend to favor combat. I'm a combat guy. I've never been a fan of the blue combo decks that just kind of sit back waiting to assemble 3 cards and win the game. Never really enjoyed that style. So I like things like Monarch that kind of reward combat, get the game moving, and create different incentives and stuff like that. So should be interesting to see what they've got going with this Tuvasa here. Looks like they've had a decent start. Got some ramp with Overgrowth, Weirding Wood, and Fertile Ground. Yeah, they're doing pretty good. Maybe a little behind on lands, but the enchantments aren't too bad. They are medium durable. We do have an austere command. If we don't need to blow up all the creatures, we'll probably have to hit enchantments at some point. One thing I was going to mention too, I am worried that eventually D-Manny might wheel, and we don't have that many board wipes in the deck. This deck is actually like cheating on removal quite a bit. So I would say this deck is like firmly mid power, not even upper mid, definitely not high power, just because I've cut a lot of the like kind of staple-y cards just in the sake of trying to test things out. So you can make a stronger build of this deck that'll be more focused and have more powerful spells and probably less creatures overall. But again, I just really wanted to test some stuff out. Moving on, we've got Sergeant Flintlock piloting Rasputin, what is that word? Oniromancer? Did we get that one right? 3 mana 4/1, enters the battlefield. Put a dream counter on it for each opponent you have. Each opponent creates a 1/1 red goblin creature token. Tap it. Remove 1 or more dream counters from Rasputin. Add that much colorless mana. Oh, God. They can tap that thing for 5? That's kind of wild. And then remove a dream counter from Rasputin. Create a 2/2 white knight creature token with protection from red. That's a cute little card. Seems like it makes a lot of mana. That's always scary. And the fact that it does it on like a tap means, throw some untaps in there. You could be making a lot of mana real quick. Something to be scared of. D-Manny got a Uvenwald Hydra, by the way. I hope he didn't go for Rogue's Passage. You went for War Room. Okay. I would go for a War Room. We could use the card draw. Rogue's Passage is scary just because, the creatures in this deck will be able to one-shot you later in the game. And, not being able to block them, kind of a problem. Jinx Choker. All right, let's get the fun started. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent gains control of it. At the beginning of your upkeep, Choker deals damage to you equal to the number of charge counters on it. 3, put a charge counter on it or remove 1 from it. I've seen this once or twice in the past. It's an interesting card. Oh, you want to need to put this? I've been thinking about building a Witch Hunt deck. I forget what was going on in the news, but I'm like, you know what? I need to bring back the Witch Hunt deck. There's a video, I'm pretty sure this happened. My memory's getting a little hazy, but like very early in the channel, like first 6 months type of thing. I'm pretty sure there's a game where I died in my own Witch Hunt. Witch Hunt gives and Witch Hunt takes. You guys can tell I took a nap and I'm well caffeinated now because I'm also feeling really chatty. There's probably like very few edits in the early half of this game because I've been talking the entire time. While I'm thinking about it, let's get some water. Opponent plays Hunted Lamassu. There's one you don't see, the Hunted cycle. There are actually some cool cards in that cycle. So this is a 5/5 that makes a 4/4 black horror creature token. And the 5/5 does have flying. And they give the horror to Flintlock, who's now got a 4/4 to their name. So yeah, this is going to be, looks like it's going to be a removal light kind of game. I would actually say, this is rare, I think everyone's relatively equal right now. Maybe we'll see what happens with Rasputin here. That might be a little scary, but, so often there's always one player that's stuck. And right now, everyone actually looks like they're in halfway decent shape. Made most of their land drops, ramped a little bit, has stuff going. Take note of this. It's Saturday, March 25th right now. I don't know what day it'll be when this video goes up, but note this day that everyone started the first 4 or 5 turns of this game relatively even. Opponent's going to add a whole lot of mana. Let's find out what the biggest, dumbest thing in their hand is. Actually, Mango was talking to me about this before the game. They wanted to play Blazing Archon in a deck, and this might be the deck to do it, because this thing makes a crap ton of mana. Also, Blazing Archon is just a lot of fun. A card that has saved my butt so many times in the past. I should run it more. I don't so much, but it is one of those cards that just like, you have to wait. You can't just like run it out there early in a game because it will eat a removal spell, and because it has to. It's just one of those type cards. Opponent plays an offer you can't refuse and counter a target non-creature spell. Its controller makes 2 tokens. That is targeting the Panharmonicon. The real winner here is this Taurine Mauler who just got a bunch of counters on it. Who's now an 8/8. And we'll get bigger if we remember to activate our thingy here. Spirited Companion. Yep, Taurine Mauler's still the winner. D-Mani has 2 reach creatures now, which is actually a little concerning. Priest of Ancient Lore. Taurine Mauler, still getting bigger. Pretty good value from Flintlock over there with the Rasputin deck. Probably a very good thing this Panharmonicon got shot. Yeah, this thing starts getting interesting once you get up, around 4, 5, 6 counters. It's a lot of damage to be taken for no real reason. Notably, that is a reason for us to kind of leave up our mana. They're going to give control of it back to Asgard, which means it won't exchange control for a little while. Oh god, oh, I forgot crap. I forgot to activate Mikaeus. Yeah, I got chatting. Crap. Land tax, want to go no. Swords. Swords is okay. Swords keeps us from dying, but we really need to find some card draw. Play planes. If I hit D-Mani too hard, he might hit me back really hard, and that's concerning. But we have all this damage, so we got to do something with it. Let's move the sword over to the Mauler. Yeah, I think everyone's got flyers. Maybe... importantly, I'm probably just going to leave the Aurelia back because we want blockers. Yeah, okay. Aurelia, put that on the Mauler. It's a 12-10 trample. Love it. Send the big one at D-Mani. I hope we don't have to pay the price for that. I think I'm just going to hold everyone else back. Actually, there's a world. Let's see. If we do that. There's a world that in which he could block with. Oh, God, that's a 9? Maybe not. Yeah, D-Mani's got a lot going on over there. I didn't realize this one's a 9/9. At the beginning of your upkeep, the player with the lowest life total gains control of Luxit on Peacekeeper. If 2 or more are tied... Oh, okay, that's from Asgard's deck. Huh. Yeah, we're still going to go into D-Mani, and we'll sit back with everyone else. Great Sword of Tyr, tap down the 9/9, and we'll sword something if we have to keep our thingy alive. I guess they could probably just block with... they might block with that thing. Double block would be not amazing. There's a card I wanted to get in here. Didn't quite make it, though. Is Rock Slide Elemental. Whenever another creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it has first strike. Okay, they're just going to throw the 4/4 into the bus. So that is totally fine. Not looking to give up their own creatures. We'll trample over for 9. Love it. Gonna leave all the mana up in case we get the Jinxed Choker. We'll spice this game up and pump a lot of mana into it. Oh, I should have moved this. Does moving the sword back do anything? I don't know. Yeah, we're kind of stuck. We need to draw cards. If we get like 1 or 2... Oh, man, a card draw spell would just... Card draw spell is really where we want to be. Hopefully D-Mani plays one. There's some blue decks at the table. Maybe the wheel. Oh, we got to watch the side. Yeah, the wrist. That's the one. That's the one you don't want to see. The difference between 9 and 8 is not really that significant, so... At least he's going to go to 11 cards, and he's going to have to discard. Still, that's going to be a full 7 plus a free cast. Yeah, that's the thing you want to watch out for. And, like, if we lose, this is going to be the difference. The fact that, like, he drew that many... Oh, really? No, not the Great Sword of Tyr. Like I said, Great Sword of Tyr. It got some work done for a 2-mana common. It outperforms itself. There's a Soul Ring. Yep. Taurine Mauler. Starting to become a real problem. Up to 14/14. Unfortunate that, like... Ooh, the Ozolith is good. Yeah. Unfortunate that, like, it's the type of thing that, like, probably has to eat a removal spell if someone has one, because, yeah. What is funny, though, is that, like, if this survives back to our turn, we send it into D-Mani, and he, like, probably just has to block with everything, which I find hilarious. Ooh, there's an Inkmoth Nexus. That can be scary. Potentially a reason to hang on to this swords. I don't think it can attack this turn. It's a 5/5. Yeah, he's just getting it pumped up. Jinxed Choker. Who's getting it? Oh, that's the upkeep damage. That was the damage trigger. Tuvasa coming in. Mauler gets bigger. Opponent cracks a clue, draws a card. I'm jealous. You want cards really good for this deck? Showdown of the Scalds. Get your card draw and pump up the team more. Love it. This is the problem with not running like 8 tutors for Mask of Memory, though, is that we don't have cards. Umbilicus. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may pay 2 life. If they don't, they return a permanent they control to their owner's hand. Interesting. I don't really have any ETBs. ETBs would be obviously the best with that. Yeah, with the companion guy, that seems pretty good. With the enchantments, because you just pick one up and recast it. Yeah, seems good for that deck. I don't know if you'd go this one. I mean, especially he has a lot of cards right now. Later in a game, if you don't have anything going on, you might pick this one up and recast it for the land. But nice. They give us the Choker. Love it. It's got 3 counters on it. In all likelihood, it's going to have a lot more by the time our turn is over with. Umbilicus. Yeah, they didn't pick up the companion. I don't know what they picked up. What'd they pick up? Should have picked up the companion. That's free card draw right there. Oh, they picked up their commander. Okay. Mauler, getting bigger. Everyone makes a token. This thing has 3 counters on it. All right, at the end step, let's remember to do all of our stuff this time. Let's activate the Mikaeus, like we forgot to do. With people feeding us tokens, like it's more meat that we're gonna have on the board. So feel pretty good about that. And then we're gonna pump some mana into this choker. So there's one additional counter. Add a counter. Add another counter. Add another counter. So we just put 3 on there. 9 mana that we had nothing to do with. Generally, not how you win commander games, but things are looking okay in this moment. Brings it back to our turn. We've got Umbilicus, Land Tax, Jinxed Choker. Oh god, it's on 6. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, we're going to lose 8 life right here. Land Tax. Yeah, we don't have anything cool to pick up. I mean, we could just pick up the Land Tax, I guess. Let's just pick up the Land Tax. That's a lot of life loss. Pick up the Land Tax. Use the ability. I'm going to go no. War Room is reasonable. Play the War Room. Activate the War Room. Hopeful Initiate. Could be helpful. Artifacts and enchantment. Yeah, there's some artifacts and enchantments out there. Yeah, I mean, I think we just got to swing a D-Manny. What kind of blocking do we have if we send... Aurelia is holding a lot of things back, so I think we're going to... let's just cast this before we forget. Do we hold it in case the board wipe? I don't know. Opponents haven't wiped the board yet. I don't think anyone has it in hand. D-Manny may have drawn one, but he may also be about to die. So there is that. Go to combat. Put Trample on the Taurine Mauler. That's got 2 really big reach creatures. Disgusting. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be D-Man. He's just, like, he just drew so many cards. He's too well set up and got to attack someone. Send in the Mauler. D-Manny not thrilled about dying to the choker here in a minute. I mean, they could block with a lot of stuff. Mauler go nom nom nom. That'd be very exciting. Block with the 8/8. Block with the 4/4. Let's just double. That's a 9/9. That's 17. And the commander. We should actually count this out. That is 21. Some of that is first strike. I'd like to keep the Mauler alive. We can't burn the swords though. Yeah, I think the Mauler's just gotta. I think we gotta trade the Mauler. Honestly, is there any way to? Yeah, I mean, I think the Mauler is gonna go down. That's fine because that'll give him a pretty big reset. Also, we'll do this thing and put a counter on everyone. We will then shoot this Ozolith. We need to remove 2 counters from creatures we control. Let's go for the goblins. They are the most expendable. How about this thing? Seems really good for this deck. Hopeful Initiate. Nom nom nom. Mauler eats a bunch of stuff. Dies itself, sadly. But we just killed 3 creatures. 3 mana. We can get the Land Tax back to play. Although, there's a world in which, like, doing this again before this comes back might be a good... Yeah, that might be a good idea. Might be a good idea. Pass like that. Yeah, D-Manny can have the choker. D-Manny down to 18. I'm telling D-Manny my plan is to take it easier on him from here on out, as long as nothing comes up. I told him I went after him pretty hard the past few turns. He says does not reduce his sodium levels. Okay. That's an Eternal Witness. What's he getting back? Worldly Tutor. He said go for the mean one. That's probably Bane of Progress. Goes for the Hydra. Well, that's fine. What's not fine is if he goes for Rogue's Passage, which he might. He doesn't seem thrilled about the plays we've taken so far. And yeah, we've gone after him a little hard, but he's playing the green deck that just, like, if you let it be, it just kills you, right? Like, his creatures were getting very large. They'll have trample. And he drew many cards. So, like, you know, Asgard doesn't have many cards in hand, so I'm not terribly worried about what they're doing. Plus, they're playing this kind of sit-back deck. I haven't really figured out exclusively what Flintlock's up to. Looks like blue ETB value stuff, and just, like, they haven't shown me a reason to be super concerned yet. Their Panharmonicon got countered, so they're not running away with value. Here's the Uvenwald Hydra. Really wanted to get a Settle the Wreckage into this deck before went to video here, but alas, I did not. And that's that whole, like, 30 creatures in a Boros deck is generally too many, because you just need those other spells and equipments, and you know what I mean? That, like, cutting 3 creatures is, for me, would be like 2 equipment tutors and a Settle the Wreckage or something like that, and those cards will up your win percentage a lot more than, you know, just another creature. What do you get for the land? Kessig Wolf Run. Well, at least it's not the Rogue's Passage. We can hold off something with the swords if we need to. See who D-Manny wants to give the choker to. Probably us, because, you know. Wait, where is the choker? I lost sight of it. Did he shoot it? Did opponent pick it up with the Umbilicus? No idea what happened. Verdant Enchantress, Tuvasa. Ooh, opponent's got the card draw now. Yeah, that's going to be our weakness here. Oh. D-Manny returned it to its owner's hand with the Umbilicus trigger. That's a nice play, actually. Kind of negates all the mana we pumped into it. Game Preserve. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player reveals the top card of their library. If all reveal cards this way are creature cards. Put those cards onto the battlefield. Weird. We have a lot of creatures, but Jinx Joker coming back. You know what we could do? We could pick up this Mikaeus and put a lot of counters on it. It's not an awful idea. Although we have the War Room. That's tricky. Opponent's going to give us the Jinx Joker. Sure. Happily take the 1 and not the 6 or whatever that was. Honestly, I see that Umbilicus. I might shoot that. Because this turn we're going to go... It depends on what we draw. That's really what it comes down to. Yeah, I might just shoot the Umbilicus just for tempo reasons. Because it seems to be benefiting Flintlock more than... I think it's benefiting everyone else a lot more than us, so... Oh, also, D-Man's got Eternal Witness? Yeah, we definitely need to shoot it. Okay. Opponent's going to make a 2/2. This is an interesting card. I think I kind of want to build this. I don't know when I'll find time to do that, but has a lot of interesting abilities. Tyrann Dynamo, more mana. Jace, draw a card, untap all creatures you control, gain control of... Oh, God. Luckily, it's a -9. Takes a little while to get to that. Untap all creatures they control, do it again. Make another 2/2. Yeah, I mean, at some point, they might just be able to go wide on us. We need to reinforce our creatures here. Spirited Companion, coming back. Yep. End step here, I am going to shoot that Umbilicus for particularly the Eternal Witness. Absolutely hate losing to Eternal Witness. We'll remove one from... No, we just remove both from the Goblin, I guess. Umbilicus down. This has 2 confirmed kills. A lot of mana spent doing it, but still, sometimes you got to shoot some stuff. Rogue's Badge, that would have been... I mean, D-Manny would be dead if we had that with the Mauler. Let us draw with the War Room. Probably didn't need another land, though. All will be one. Nice. That's a card. We're going to probably get to look at a cool card this turn. That makes me happy. Potentially start clearing stuff off the board here. Okay, let's play the Rogue's Passage before a wheel happens. Let's use this thing, that one, red, and red. Let's get this all will be one. Let's recast land tax. And we'll sit on the swords. All right, so we'll get 4 counters if we activate this thing. Let's read this again. Whenever you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, does that much damage to target opponent, creature an opponent controls, or planeswalker an opponent controls. So he's got 2 pro-red creatures. That's maybe not the best. But we can mow down a couple things over here. Seem like they're causing some problems. Or we could just shoot a Brago. Or that. There's also an Enchantress that's probably worth shooting. Whenever this creature attacks, I gotta read training. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So the reverse of Mentor, which means if we attack with this and Aurelia, it would get 2 counters on it, which is pretty solid. Let's start by activating this Mikaeus. This is cool. I'm glad we're gonna get to do this. Oh, don't you shoot this! Target opponent gains control of target creature. Not thrilled about that. Yeah, really not thrilled about that. Ugh. Well, that's gonna spell certain doom for probably some of our stuff. We get less counters now, so notably we can't shoot as much stuff. So we get 3 counters, which I think means shoot this Enchantress. I really want to shoot the... we'll wait on the thingy. What does this one do? Oh, that's a proliferate guy. Shoot the proliferate guy, I guess. Enchantress down. Yeah, I think we mash Aurelia into the Jace. Target itself. Could also just go with their life total. Going after the Jace. No blocks. Jace goes down. We'll give the choker to... Flintlock has a lot of life and, like, the most value right now. Oh, it gets a counter on it. We get to shoot another thing. The Commander? The Commander. All will be one. Oh, this card. This deck was born for this card. Then we took opponent down a notch over there. Killed the Planeswalker, killed Thrumming Bird, and killed their Commander. Scavenging Ooze. Cankerbloom. Destroys artifacts, enchantments, and proliferates. Not ideal. Halana and Alena back to play for a pretty good chunk of mana. Gonna pump up a token. Game Preserve. I would love to rip a creature off the top. We need more cards. Everyone has more cards than us. We have a Wheel of Fortune coming. That is very helpful. Very, very helpful. Hopefully nothing happens to it. The real question will be, do we austere command before that Wheel of Fortune? The answer is maybe. What's the many have? He has 2 big creatures and a lot of small ones. 1 big creature, a lot of small ones. So probably going after the small ones. Then the question is, do we go after enchantments? The Tuvasa hasn't played a ton of nasty enchantments. Maybe it is just all creatures, although we have a lot of, like, Aurelia's really stacked. But D-Manny can get out of hand pretty quickly. Asgard said, I deserve that. In response to the thing we shot. Asgard passed without doing anything. Inexorable Tide, no. That might be a reason to shoot enchantments. Unless opponent wants to proliferate our stuff, I doubt it, though. There's a Tuvasa. Gross. Looks like they've spent all the mana. They don't have the mana for this anymore, which looks good. Proliferates the Choker, of course. And the Initiate. Oh, God, I hope D-Manny doesn't have Heroic Intervention. That would be bad. That'd be really bad. What did he reveal? He revealed a Pier. Tuvasa and Jinxed Choker. Gonna give us the Choker, that's fine. Love to shoot that Tuvasa. It doesn't have the loyalty, sadly. Blink the card draw guy. If we swords... I bet if we swords this, he would spend a Heroic Intervention on that. I'm gonna swords, or attempt to swords, the Hydra. He's gonna destroy our all-as-one. That sucks. Well, we got to use it one time, and it was very exciting. It is gonna die right here, though. This thing going down... I mean, Heroic Intervention would still be bad, but... Well, it still isn't resolved yet, but I think he's thinking about it. Which means he probably has the Heroic Intervention. He lets it go, but at least we don't... he's got the Inkmoth Nexus. We might just die. We might just die. Oh, man, that makes... I mean, do we not Austere Command, then? God. He's got 4 cards. He's got 2 mana. It looks bad. It looks really bad. Definitely going to be a no on that land tax. Oh, I don't love this at all, but... I'm going to Austere Command on all creatures. I know I could attack first, but I need to make sure this gets through. Okay, there goes Scavenging Ooze, thank God. Mauler getting exiled. Normally I would attack there, but I was just very in my head about the Heroic Intervention there. Oh, the creature's getting blued up. Back to the command zone. Then we play this Wheel of Fortune. And hopefully we get to look at more cool cards. Cards! Oh god, that's so many lands. Oh my god. At least there's a Lion Sash in there. Lion Sash is helpful. There's an Emeria in there. Emeria Myriad Landscape means like a couple more turns. I know it's getting late here, but... so I like this because that means Eternal Witness shenanigans are offline for a bit. Yeah, we just sit and exile stuff as we need to, I think. God, that's more lands than I was looking for, though. Oh, we gotta watch this stupid thing, too. Choker! Means he's got the Kessig Wolf Run. It's a lot of bad news. We used our instant speed removal already. Vigor. Gross. Pier. Someone in the comments will probably be like, you should have land taxed more. There's only one basic in this hand. This is all of our non-basics. And yeah, I would trade this very much for a non-land. But I don't like burning all of my lands into a wheel. And like, I know we didn't have the wheel, but I've played land tax long enough to kind of know if you just have like 7 cards in hand the entire game and like are discarding with your land tax, you're not going to be able to get Emeria going. Even still, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for us. I mean, this game needs to go like probably 4 more turns to get this Emeria online, maybe like 3. It's not saying it's impossible, but we just refilled everyone's hand, so. And we didn't really get a lot, so unless someone else wants to play a board wipe and blow everything up. Game Preserve, Jinxed Choker. God, I would love to rip a creature. What would we reveal? Oh, Plains? Oh god, how do we mill ourselves? Land tax. We can land tax if someone has enough lands. That's interesting. Revealing that top card. Man, it's so powerful. Like, and I've talked about the Lantern of Insight deck that I want to build. I'll get there someday, but like those type of effects are so powerful. So once our Wheel of Fortune was revealed, if someone had a way to mill us one, or even more than one, denying us that card draw right there, I mean, we're probably just dead in the water, right? Because look at this. Like, our next bunch of turns are all lands. And if you can deny someone's card draw, like even if it includes like Fate Sealing it off the top, that is a way that you can win the game. Because most decks rely on refilling, and if you stop that extra 5 or more cards, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. Tuvasa coming back to play. D-Manny leaving a bunch of open mana makes me not like super thrilled. Mesa Enchantress, more Enchantresses. Crown of Doom, yeah, there we go. Oh god, that's the type of thing that can get us killed, though. We need to get some blockers. Need some blockers. So we could play Myriad Landscape this turn, and if we Feast and Famine, we could actually untap it and use it all this turn, which could be pretty good. Gonna give D-Manny the Crown of Doom, nice. Yeah, I think we have enough to go Aurelia, Feast and Famine, and yeah, it's probably what we're gonna be looking at. Oh, we might even have exactly enough to give Aurelia haste. Yeah, we'll have exactly enough to give Aurelia haste also, which means we could theoretically mentor. I'm very nervous about the Inkmoth Nexus, though. This is how we die. Path's still in here. Path is still in here. That's probably about it. Teferi's Protection. That's probably about it. Rasputin coming back. Oh, proliferates the Inkmoth. Gross. Oof. Peep's gonna be getting one shot. Everyone gets some tokens. Arcane Signet. Before I forget, let's exile some stuff. Definitely the Eternal Witness. Hate losing to that card. Worldly Tutor can be kind of nasty. Not terribly worried about anything over here. Alfedo Alchemist. Oh, yeah. It's an untap. God, that's in one-shot range. We need to strip mine. One's got an ETB on the Solemn Simulacrum. Oh, God, that's so good with Thassa. Thassa and Jinx Choker at the end step. We'll exile the Priest. How much is this thing to equip? 2. There is a world in which... Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there's a world in which we equip this to Aurelia, and Aurelia is big enough to theoretically block the Ink Moth. They could pump a lot of mana into it, which is still really scary, but... Jinx Choker, we do want a land tax this time. We got the Choker. We're going to go yes to the land tax. Now I'm going to start pulling lands out. We're just going to go 3 mountains. I don't really care as much if we discard those to hand size. Pray that we draw a non-land. It's a land, of course. Oh my god, land tax. Land tax on MTGO is the worst. I don't know if it's confirmation bias or what, but it always seems like you draw a land when you go land tax, especially when you go for 3. Don't know why that is. Sunhome makes things interesting. D-Manny said it'll give us a turn to live, so there's that. Yeah, okay, so I guess we recast our commander. 8 lands. That's what we're looking at. Play the old Feast and Famine. Equip the old Feast and Famine. Oh no, I tapped the haste land. Wow. Wow. Crap. Oh, I can't believe I just did that. Yep, that hurts. That being the case, play Ameria and reconfigure this to Aurelia. Yeah, that hurts. I mean, it's bad. Like, there's no sugarcoating it. But what's worse is what's going on in our hand, right? Like, I don't know. Because basically what happens is we untap. I mean, I guess we get an extra draw right there, which is actually a big deal. How many counters are on this thing? 1? Is that 1 or 11? 1? D-Manny can have it. Oh, that's 11. It's been proliferated. Hot potato. Oh, God, we're at 13. God, we're just going to die to the Choker. Yeah, this game's probably over. They draw with the War Room. Unless Asgard dies and it goes out of the game. Discard a mountain. So, I mean, if we didn't punt with the Feast and Famine right there or with the Haste Land, we could have theoretically pumped a lot with the Lion Sash. That's actually a really cool interaction. Feast and Famine plus Lion Sash. Feast and Famine in general just does so many good things. Oh, wow. D-Manny's going to go after Asgard with the Inkmoth Nexus because they want to get the Choker out of the game. Yeah, I mean, it's turn 10. That's reasonable. That is reasonable. Asgard goes down. Does some interesting stuff, though. It was a cool deck. Fun little tricksy cards. Honestly, I think they probably could have played a little more Pillow Fort. Based on what they're doing, Ghostly Prison, any of the Ghostly Prison type clones. Oh, yeah, there's the draw 10. Love it. D-Manny doesn't have any flying blocking, actually. With Double Strike, it'd be... The problem is we have trouble surviving against stuff, so that's not amazing either. Spike Weaver, well, that changes the math a whole lot. It prevents the combat damage. Disgusting. Yep. Well, so much for trying to one-shot D-Manny, unless Flintlock wants to do something about that. There are 30 creatures in this deck, and we've drawn like 4 of them. We have drawn 1, 2, 3 creatures this game. That's insane. Doesn't happen to become an artifact, does it? It does become an artifact. If we can somehow get Hopeful Initiate back. That opens up a couple more cards in the deck too. Shine Wind and like there's 1 or 2 other artifact and enchantment killers in the deck that could theoretically get rid of the Inkmoth. Teferi Timebender, huh? Untap up to 1 target artifact creature. You gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Okay, and then there's an extra turn 1 in there. Wow, this thing's up to 8. That's a lot of mana. This is a really strong... Or is it? Inexorable Tide is a really strong card. Honestly, I wish they would print something like that in red or white. It's a cool effect. And I feel like more than just blue should get to have Proliferate. I think there's a bunch in green too, but just... It sucks that it's in the Sultai colors and it's like very, very little in red and white. Considering that there's been, I don't know what... How many sets with Proliferate in it now? 5 or 6 at least. Soul Ring in. Mind Stone. Oh god. Do we think they can get to the extra turn? It's gonna be close. Honestly, all of that might make D-Manny kill them, and maybe we might be able to finagle this situation here. Wall of Omens. Proliferate. There's 8. They got 1 mana left. Is this active? Can they use this? I think he's got the extra turn. Nope. Makes a Knight? Does he have the mana? No, he's gonna untap it. Okay. You can play a really big X-Spell, though. Makes another Knight. Okay. Got a lot of Knights. Thassa End Step. Cloud Blazer seems like a good target. Indeed, the Cloud Blazer. Brings us back to our turn. We go on land tax. I'm going to go no. Aurelia is card draw. I don't know if this is a safe place to put Aurelia. Well, I guess we could... That's a 6/6. Okay. I really want that landscape, but I think we got to go Sunhome right here for protection reasons. Cast Aurelia. We'll get a counter. Aurelia will put a counter. Yeah, we still got to give it, because... Next question is D-Manny going to fog the Feast and Famine? This counter isn't as important. I think I'd rather leave my lands up. So make Aurelia unblockable. Go to combat. Aurelia trigger on herself. This one into the Planeswalker, this one into Flintlock's face. We get Aurelia and a Mentor trigger. Love it. Let's go Aurelia on the bottom, just so we don't mess... That should be fine. She's big enough. 2 Mentor triggers. Would have hoped for a couple more this game. Things got a little weird. Maybe this deck needs an Iroas. Before they all get big, a lot of them are actually pretty small, so... Yeah, Iroas might be the way to go there. Just really good in general. You get an Exile trigger. It is a Luminarch Aspirant. Fun. Kind of one you want to see much earlier than this, but... If we double strike, he almost definitely fogs. I don't know that he will with this attack, especially since we're putting a little on the Planeswalker. There's a Feast of Famine trigger. Okay, so we got that off, which means we're going to do a couple things. We're going to War Room. Bonder's Enclave is more card draw. And then we're going to float mana. We untap our lands, and we will War Room once again with the floating mana. Combi of Celebration. Interesting. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Love it. Let's... Oh, man, we got to be careful, though. Need to leave that up. We don't need this one. We don't need that one. We're going to have to wait on that because I want to leave up the Sunhome, so we'll just play this Aspirant guy. Yeah, I really need to get that Gleam of Battle in last turn with the Feast and Famine because got other stuff I want to do with the mana. Yeah, I think we just pass like that. Beast Within on the Cloud Blazer. Oh, getting rid of the flying blocking. I think there's about to be another Inkmoth Nexus kill. Discard a mountain. Fight rigging. Uh-oh. Hideaway 5. At the beginning of combat in your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control, and if you control a creature with 7 or greater, you can exile. You can play the Hideaway card. They don't have 7. Oh, the Inkmoth Nexus will be giant. Aurelia and Kami of Celebration seem like they're 2 peas in a pod. Oh, God. All will be one. Ooh, that's a problem. Animate the Inkmoth Nexus. Yep. We're at 9. Oh, God. It's going to take so little for that to kill us. Puts counter on the Vigor. All will be 1 triggers. Thank God you can't target your own stuff, otherwise that'd be infinite. Probably shoot this thing, I guess. Oh, Stonehoof Chieftain. Gross. Yeah, shoots the thing. Yeah, it is unlikely that we can win. A win would probably have to start with Teferi's Protection, more card draw, then some removal. Just a lot of things that I don't think we really have. This card is like pretty busted. Lost a lot of games with this card. Doesn't show up as much as it used to, but Trample and Indestructible? Really? Because, like, it's not hard to get this into play in a green deck. The other colors, maybe, right? If this were mono white, it's a lot harder to get into play. Now, the problem, too, is even if we draw, like, True Conviction, he can just prevent all the damage. It's not great. Opponent goes down. All will be 1 triggers. Not sure from what. 10... Oh, 10 poison counter? Yeah, we just die then. Did he not target us with it? I mean, I guess if we're just playing to our outs, we exile a million things. Exile a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we need to get really lucky if we're getting out of this. Really could use that Settle the Wreckage. Land tax, yeah, just rip all the lands out. Hope for the best. Johnny is incredibly late. So late to this party. It's not even funny. So Feast and Famine is definitely not going to get through, which means we're not getting a land on tap. Which means we probably want the Bonder's Enclave. We need to look at... What's this one do? You cast spell from exile whenever a modified creature attacks. Top card of your library. Exit. Yeah, okay. This will give us the most chances to look at the most things, so I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, go to combat like that. Send both. Mentor. Yeah, we'll mentor. We get 2 Kami triggers and a Aurelia trigger. Gonna need some big stuff. Gonna need enchantment removal, artifact removal. Yeah, there's the prevent all damage. Gonna need creature removal to get rid of the Spike Weaver at some point. That's a lot to ask for. Thran Dynamo is not any of those things. Semester's End is creature protection, not super helpful right here. It's probably already over. Tectonic Giant, nope. Yeah, we can scoop. Because, I mean, if they put counters on anything, they basically just kill us with direct damage. Maybe we'll stay in it. Just in case. We still have some card draw left. Probably gonna have to rip it to fairies, though. I like the interactions in this deck. Like, things aren't going well right now because we've drawn entirely too many lands, but I think this is actually going to be a really cool deck to like put together. Thinking about building this in paper now. The interactions are definitely sweet. Okay, what can we... Definitely going to need that. Just going to go for Thran Dynamo. Probably not going to use the War Room. Yeah, probably not going to use the War Room. The life loss is adding up. Put a counter on this one. Have we played a land? We have... Passed like that? Yeah, it's like if we had all these cards much, much earlier, it would have been really cool. Start discarding stuff. Man, this game... If we weren't having to defend against, like, the stupid Inkmoth Nexus, we'd probably actually have active Emeria. How much that does for us, I'm not sure. Getting this back would actually be a big deal. That would actually solve a lot of problems. Oh, the Indestructible is going to be a problem, huh? So if he attacks and that thing's indestructible, yeah, it doesn't matter. We can scoop. Actually, we'll take our draw, then we'll scoop. Like, if it's not Teferi's Protection or instant speed removal of some kind. Draw with Bonder's Enclave. It's a land. Yeah, we can scoop. Yeah, we drew too many lands. We drew too many lands. Another land. Volt Charge. Too late to the party. Oh, yeah, Champion Lambhole. All kinds of disgusting stuff. Wow, just lands for days. Oh, my God. Yeah, like, the deck was cool, right? Like, the interactions we had were a lot of fun, but you just can't win if you're... I mean, this is like every land in our deck. There are 46 cards left in the library, and, like, very few of them are lands, so... Yeah, that's frustrating. Anyway, yeah, the deck was fun, except for the land flooding part. So maybe another card draw spell or two. A lot of games, so many games now come down to, did you find your card draw or not? We did kind of late. Wheel of Fortune in the late game it can be suspect. Wheel of Fortune tends to be much better in the early game when people are still kind of hoarding all their good stuff. Like turn 4 before they have the chance to commit the really big things. Yeah, but the deck was cool. I'd like to play it again at some point. I don't know when that'll happen, just to get like a better look at it. But I like what I saw. All Will Be One was really cool. There's some other stuff we didn't even get to that I think will be pretty sweet too. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel, vote on which decks I play next, or if you want to get some good games of Spell Table, be sure to check out my Patreon at the link below.